Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome back or welcome anew to my Patreon. However, I'm here to do an official update in regards to the 78 Pieces of Tarot study, which means that this video is going to be publicly available for everybody. So it's not just going to be on my Patreon, but if you do want to participate in this study, you need to be a patron. So you need to join my Patreon on the $5 tier. So that's the fairy ring tier. So just a heads up there. If you don't know what the 78 Pieces of Tarot is, I suggest that you go check out my other videos, as I do explain this more elsewhere. So, let me just, okay. I'm not sure why this is happening, but whatever. Sorry, I'm having a new camera. So, as you know, or whatever, like in the past years, when we did the 78 Pieces of Tarot, we usually picked out one deck and then we did the study of the whole deck, you know, in one chunk. But that took us like 3 months to finish, and it gets pretty intense. So I tend to improve the study each year a little bit, you know, depending on what our experience was the previous year and so on. So this year I just had to come to terms with the fact that it was just too much, you know. It was just it was getting too intense. It was getting too, yeah, just too much. It became like a chore almost, you know, because after you finish that first month with the, you know, intro prompts and the major arcana, I feel like we all kind of lose that initial motivation and enthusiasm, and that's totally normal. And I want to respect that. And with the last year's Herbcrafters Tarot study that we did, I really felt bummed out by the fact that I kind of burnt out in that way, that my enthusiasm burnt out in that way, and I think that we all felt that way. And yeah, I really wanted to finish the study, to be completely honest. So I was trying to rethink, how do we do this? How do we do this so it's good for everybody, so we can, you know, get through the whole deck without, you know, just rushing through it, and with making it meaningful and, you know, doing it properly. So this is what we're going to do this year. I'm not saying that this is gonna be perfect, but this is just what we're gonna be doing this year, and we're gonna see how it goes. So, last year we started with the Herbcrafters Tarot, and after the major arcana we kind of burnt out. So what I decided to do was split the minor arcana by the suits and do them seasonally, meaning that we're gonna be studying one suit per season, which gives us much more time to actually dive into it properly, to process all the information. And yes, that means that one deck is gonna take us 1 year of study. I mean, it's not like gonna be every day, obviously, but it's gonna like stretch out or span out through the entire year, which I'm okay with, to be completely honest. In terms of paying for the $5 tier, in the previous years, people would sometimes join my Patreon just for the study, and that's totally okay. Which meant that they had to be on that tier for at least 3 months while the study was going on. And what changes in terms of that is that it's gonna well, let me just explain how the study is gonna go, and I'm gonna explain how the payments are gonna go as well, or the patronage, or I don't know what it's called, but okay. So, we're gonna begin with this on the 1st of March. So if you do want to join us, make sure you join my Patreon by the 1st of March. You can join on the 1st of March and join in. I would suggest join in before that, but it's totally okay. Do know that if you join before the 1st of March, you're going to be charged for February. Ooh, I obviously can't talk, but yeah. You're gonna be charged for February, and then you're gonna be charged for March on the 1st of March. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, 1st of March, we're beginning. As I said, it's gonna be 1 suit per season, meaning that we're gonna be doing 1 suit in the first 14 days of March, 1 suit in the first 14 days of June, 1 suit for the first 14 days of September, and 1 suit for the first 14 days of December. And then, you know, we're gonna have time to reflect in between or to catch up, because I want to also respect, you know, our different abilities to, you know, keep up with this, because 1 card per day can be a lot. It can be intense, and sometimes 1 card demands more time from us and attention and processing, and that's great. You know, I want to encourage that. I don't want to, you know, rush past that. So yeah. So yeah, what that means in terms of payments and being a patron, that means that you will have to be a patron for those 4 months in order to study the minor arcana of the Herbcrafter Tarot specifically this year. So March, June, September, and December. Those are the 4 months. So this year, for the month of March, we're gonna be studying the Suit of Water, aka Cups, in connection to spring. And in terms of this specific deck, sorry, let me just, yeah, it's wobbly. Okay, so in terms of this specific deck, it has herbs and plants, and how this deck was designed is, you know, in sync with the herb crafting and in sync with the plants and working with the plants. Because, you know, when it comes to the season of winter, it's a little bit scarce, at least in, you know, where I live. And that's gonna be also different for everybody. So, you know, the assigning 1 suit to 1 season wasn't that easy in terms of, you know, making it kind of in sync with which plants are around at a time. So we, meaning me and my patrons, we decided together on kind of assigning each suit to each season, how they were kind of talked about in the guidebook. And in the guidebook, the author assigns it not to seasons per se, but to different activities and to different approaches of the herb crafter to the plants. And it's also about the relationship between the herb crafter and the plants themselves and the land. So there's always a skill involved, and sometimes some kind of practice. So yeah, for the Suit of Water, aka springtime, which we're gonna be doing in March, the skill that we are kind of practicing is nourishing, and it's all about teas, baths, water-based medicines, and the plants are all revolving around that in the Suit of Water. In June, for the season of summer, we're going to be doing the Suit of Air, aka Swords. The skill is learning, and What's going to be most important is observing the plants as they are growing in nature. And yeah, it's also with each card, if you haven't worked with this deck before, with each card you also get 3 little ideas of little crafts or practices that you can do with each card or with each herb. So that doesn't exclude itself, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to work with these herbs in terms of this study, if you want to, that you just have to observe them or whatever. But that's what's the main theme of it. So for September, for the season of autumn, we're going to be studying the suit of fire, aka wands. And the suit of fire is all about creating. It's all about alchemy of herbcraft, about tinctures, about potions, about making goodies with the plants that we got to harvest throughout the past months or throughout the past season, let's say. And for December, for the season of winter, we're going to be studying the suit of earth, aka pentacles, which is all about the skill of giving, and using plants to make tools like baskets and fiber arts and whatnot. So I find that to actually be really in sync with the season of winter, at least where I live, which is more about resting, introspection, pulling yourself inward, there's not a lot of action like there is in the suit of fire, but there is crafts and arts, and in terms of the skill being giving, I find that really meaningful in terms of giving nature the time that she needs to replenish herself, to rest, and to giving ourselves that same gift. So that's pretty much it. As I said, you need to join the Fairy Ring tier on the months of March, June, September, and December. You can drop out in the middle, in between of those months if you don't feel like, if you're not interested in any other content that I have to offer, it's totally fine. And if you want to do this study on your own with whatever deck you want, either that be tarot or oracle, you can always purchase the workbook directly from me. So if that's something that you want, feel free to message me or whatever. Yes, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna be continuing with the, wait a minute, give me a second. We're gonna be continuing with our little crafty, damn, mine is all over the place. With our little crafty takes on all the cards and whatnot. And I am looking really forward to doing this again. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I still have to finish the study of Major Arcana for myself because I felt so overwhelmed with everything when we did it last year that I couldn't keep up. So that's something that we're gonna be fixing this year. So I hope you join us. I hope you enjoy this study, and I hope you enjoy this deck as much as I do. Yeah, so the links are gonna be down below, the link to my Patreon, the link to my Instagram, and all those goodies. So yeah, that's it. I wish you a great day, and I'll see you. Bye!